Disclaimer, please do not attempt to contact anybody that you see on your screen, anybody that comes up in this video. This is all my commentary and opinion, all in good fun. A viewer discretion is advised because there are some content details that might be disturbing to young viewers and also contains details relating to the crimes against children and humanity. And once again, a lot of rage baiting. But big surprise there. I'm not going to give you a big long spiel before we get started. Let's just get started. Because, it all speaks for itself, doesn't it?
It's not entirely...
I have a lot
hang on. Let me ask you a question. Yeah, the way this works is I ask you questions. Okay. But, in a way, I don't think you care particularly about these
So
files.
let me tell you...
Well, hang on. Let me finish. Please let me ask you a question.
You asked me
and my question is this. Well, because I haven't asked you a question. So the way this works is I host, I have people on the panel, I ask you a question, and then you answer. If you want to jump in before the question's asked, it doesn't work. Okay? Here's my question for you.
Only she would have to be explained the rules to a basic interview or guest appearance, but
Mark Epstein has just hung up because I had the audacity to ask him if he cares about victims.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. Okay, right before this, we're seeing right now happening, Piers Morgan, I don't know if it was a pre-recording or if he did it right there on live, but he called Mark Epstein, who is Jeffrey Epstein's brother. Now, Jeffrey Epstein's brother has been he's been around. He's been around a lot of different news channels. Well, I don't know actually if he's been on the news, but he's been like a guest for certain podcasters like Nancy Grace, different people like that, people trying to get to the bottom of, his murder. Or, I'm sorry, suicide. I guess that's what they say it is, suicide. But anyways, so what just happened with Piers Morgan, he was on the phone with him, and Piers Morgan was basically trying to pressure him into saying that he cares about the victims, which is honestly, Piers Morgan's about to say that it's a straightforward question. I think it's a little weird he didn't answer. But honestly, I think it's a little weird that you asked. This is his brother, first of all. And listen, I'm not trying to defend Mark Epstein again. Trust me. I'm just saying the last thing I would have expected would be for him to care about these victims. Can I just say something? Can I just be frank? The things that Epstein had going on, right? The kinds of things he had going on, the things that he was okay with, leads me to believe that, was he raised by wolves? I don't know. Something tells me it's just deeper than just, it's just like, I know Mark Epstein, I'm not saying he's implicated in anything. Of course he's not. You know what I mean? That's not what I mean. I'm just saying that, it doesn't seem like it's all that shocking or disturbing to Mark Epstein. You know what I mean? And even if it was, he would still want to find out what happened to his brother. Your family's your family. There's family members that, you know what I mean? You love your family no matter what happens, what they turn out to be. You maybe can't stand to be around them or disown them, but like in your heart, I at least in my opinion, you love your family. You know what I mean? So naturally, he wants to get to the bottom of how he got suicided. And Piers Morgan kind of said, well, you do care about the victims of Epstein, don't you? And then he hung up. And I'm not really sure what Piers was expecting out of that. I really don't. Jeffrey Epstein was a monster. There's a really good chance. I'm not saying that anyone should be guilty by association or anything, but I'm just saying that he was into dark stuff, Bao stuff, and from what we've learned with the cult of Bao, it's typically a family thing. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying that they were in the cult of Bao, but Jeffrey Epstein's niece certainly seemed to think that. Her name is Anya Wick. I don't know if any of you have heard of her. You should go check her out. Sean Atwood had interviewed her before. She claims to be Jeffrey Epstein's niece, and I'm assuming that would mean that Mark would be her dad, or unless there's a sibling that we don't know about. I guess that's possible. She claims to be not only Jeffrey Epstein's niece, but that her twin brother was on the Disney Channel and listen, she didn't come out and name her brother, but I'm going to name the person that she's talking about. It was Josh Peck, because, I mean, my God, they just, like, look exactly alike. Like dead on. Like, they do look like they are identical twins. So, if she's making it up, she certainly picked a really good person to say that was her twin, because they do look just alike. But anyways, so if what she's saying is true, that means Josh Peck is actually Jeffrey Epstein's nephew, and they're all in the cult of Bow. And something else you notice about Josh Peck, you can't confirm who his father is, interestingly enough, which is the same way with a lot of these MK Ultra, like, actors and actresses. A lot of them have, like, usually only one parent that's known and little known about the other. It's very weird like that. And look at me, I just went on this whole side tangent. Oh my God. What did I go off on this side tangent for? Oh yeah, Piers Morgan was on the phone with Mark Epstein. That's right. So anyways, so Piers is moving funny. Big shock. Victoria Harvey's moving funny. They're all moving funny. But let's watch.
Of his brother. It's a pretty telling, shocking moment, frankly. The least he can do is say, yeah, of course I do. But he couldn't bring himself to do it for whatever reason. And he can live with his answer. In your case, the one thing I'd say, I've known you a long time, right? We've always got on well. But I really felt a while ago you went down a path with these victims of Epstein where you just decided none of it was true. It was all a witch hunt, all a stitch up. Andrew was completely innocent. And in Virginia Giuffre's case in particular, you've been so scathing about her. And you specifically said the picture of her with Andrew was fake. She never had sex with him. It's all lies. Just on those 2 points alone, we now know from the files 2 things. One, the picture is genuine, confirmed by Ghislaine Maxwell in the files. And secondly, it's confirmed that they had a sexual relationship. That is confirmed in correspondence involving Jeffrey Epstein. So on those 2 significant points alone, has this not given you pause for thought?
So
that you might just be backing the wrong horse here.
Okay, can I start? Calmly.
Yeah.
Right. So I absolutely, if for any real victims out there, I have a huge sympathy for.
And remember, when she says for any real victims, what she actually means is, like, real as in her definition. Like, she's the ultimate judge and jury on who's a real victim and who's not. Just so everyone's aware. And even if you don't believe her, ask Kash Patel. Don't you know, Kash Patel is just, like, best buddies with her. He probably gets advice from her, on how to do his job correctly. I'm sure. I have no doubt. They're that tight.
Any real victims. The problem is, when I started looking into the case, I found that the main girls that were escalated into the media by the lawyers were not real victims. And this is where I had my issue about it. Now, Virginia Giuffre, she recanted her story on multiple people.
Girl, okay, first of all, she never actually, like, recanted her story, okay? She backed down from the Alan Dershowitz stuff. That does not mean anything. That does not mean she recanted her story. Okay. In fact, every interview I've ever seen Virginia Giuffre in, she's been very consistent, had the same story. And in fact, I think I remember when she was talking about Alan Dershowitz, because he was really scathing too about her. Like, he got on the news and was like screaming, like, at the camera, I dare her to say it with a straight face or something like that. Like, he was really scathing. So I don't really know what happened with all that. I really don't. I honestly believe her the first time. Even if she did recant her story, even if she did come out and say Alan Dershowitz was innocent after everything she said, I still believe it the first time. I believe it the first time she said, because these people are evil. These people like to threaten people. She has children. She has babies. And so, I believe her the first time. I do. I believe her the first time. I mean, like I said, she's been consistent throughout this whole thing. And if Andrew's behavior is any indicator of, yeah, we don't need to argue about it. She's, Virginia Giuffre, in my opinion, was always telling the truth.
Harvard professor, Alan Dershowitz, There was even the granddaughter of Jacques Cousteau that had never met her. She made up a lot of stories. She got busted. She then changed her stories and she said, oh, no, I never went to New Mexico with Prince Andrew, when she had given graphic information and talked about horse rides and drinking champagne. And then she said, oh, it never happened. Now, that is one of the reasons I never believed Virginia, because there was just so much information out there.
I don't remember her saying any of that, but like, I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Victoria Harvey is really good at something. And this is what gets on my nerves about Piers Morgan. She's literally come on here and told several verifiable lies so far. Now, this, what she just said, I don't even see, that's the thing. She just comes up on here and says it on a live stream and like just starts saying stuff. You know what I mean? And so like, it's hard to say, but you can't believe like anything she says. So if any of that's true, I don't think it is. I don't ever remember Virginia ever talking about that horse riding. I remember her talking about like the dance club and stuff, and there were other situations that she didn't like to talk about that I believe she covered in her book, and for understandable reasons, you know what I mean, she didn't like to talk about that a lot because she was forced to do an orgy with him and another young girl. So oh God, Victoria Harvey, please just go get a job or something. Just go if you're that bored or whatever it is, just go get a job or something and laugh at the poor people there. I don't know.
Victoria, here's the problem.
I come with
Virginia
with
Giuffre,
facts. Piers,
let me finish my
facts,
point.
and you do not have the facts.
Fine, you don't have facts. You don't have facts. Let me just put to you this. Virginia Giuffre in that picture with Andrew was 17 years old.
It's not a real photo,
right?
Piers. Come on.
She is still going on about that photograph, which we all know is very real. And her, like, in my opinion, Victoria Harvey, you were caught lying. You were busted lying. You literally came with this dumb picture of your buddy. How'd you get into the apartment, by the way? This woman literally gets into the same apartment that supposedly, allegedly, isn't even Ghislaine Maxwell's anymore. So who knows how she even got into this apartment to get her photographer friend to take pictures of the same spot that Andrew and Virginia were standing at so that she could try to prove that there's no possible way that the three of them could have fit in that frame. And it was the most disastrous argument I think I've ever seen in my life. It was just like, and she just did it like so brazenly, like so like vigilantly, like just defending this lie, and it was clearly a lie. It's just, wow. These people really just have no problem just screaming a lie right in the camera the way they do.
It is a real photo. Ghislaine Maxwell confirmed it.
We had
Piers,
1 second.
It's confirmed.
We had this conversation 2 weeks ago, and I said that was a draft statement done by her PR, and it was never used.
Yeah, this is the problem, though.
Whether it's a draft statement or not, it doesn't matter. It was written, it was said, it doesn't matter. And how can we confirm that was a draft PR statement? How do you know that? What, because Ghislaine said so? Is that what we're going on? Like, what are you talking about?
This is the problem. You're not going to believe anything that disproves your bonkers theory that this is all some great stitch up.
Listen to me 1 second. Why would Ghislaine lie to the DOJ? Ghislaine told the DOJ and in that prison interview there are over 50 things wrong with that photo. Why would she lie?
Why would she lie? Are you kidding me? Why would she lie? Why would she?
To the DOJ when she's trying to get out of jail. She's not going to do that.
We've literally seen in their own words in the files the picture's genuine and that they had a sexual relationship.
Listen.
You still have your blinkers on. You don't want to believe it. And my advice to you is there's going to be a point with this where you have to stop trashing these victims. I'm just giving you some advice as someone who's known you a long time. Victim trashing in this and protecting the villains, whether it's Epstein, whether it's Andrew, whether it's whatever, there comes a point when reality has to hit fantasy world, and I think we've hit that point.
Virginia was a fake victim.
And you know, she's going to keep doing this too, and it's sad because Virginia's no longer here to defend herself. She's no longer here to defend herself. And is it just me, or has she like just gotten extra vicious since Virginia was gone? I mean, listen, Victoria Harvey just a couple months back actually said, and then conveniently she had to go and kill herself. Like, as if like she like actually like said, like, I'm paraphrasing of course, but that was the tone, that was the intent. Like, almost as if Virginia just went to go and kill her, unalive herself, or which we none of us believe is what happened, all to spite Andrew and her. It is like beyond the scope of delusional, absolutely delusional.
Right, she wasn't a fake victim.
She was a fake
And the way
victim.
you go after her, I find repellent. All right, let me just turn to Bianca quickly, because...
Yeah, it is repellent. That's probably the only thing Piers Morgan said, right? But yeah, Piers Morgan, you just keep bringing her on. You keep bringing her on over and over, giving her a platform. No doubtedly, this platform is where she gets the most views. So it's like, it's almost like an FU to the victims by having her on as much as you do. You just can't stand it. And yeah, you fought back with what she was saying, but in my opinion, you were just too easy on her. You were just way too easy on her. She is vile. She is just, like, she has such utter, absolute contempt for these girls. And I'm only guessing as to why. I can only speculate. My speculation is, I don't know if it just goes I think it's a little bit deeper than just about these girls not having a title. You know what I mean? I think it goes a little bit deeper. I think deep down inside, she senses this shift. Like, people aren't buying into this elite title snobbery bullcrap anymore like they used to. You know what I mean? They're not buying into it anymore. And that was very much the reality in which her and her family and her people were on the very top echelons of society. You know what I mean? Like, someone, like, if you're talking about, what, 20 years ago, someone with the title, yeah, you're it. You know what I mean? You're awesome. You're at the top of society. People look up to you, this, that, and the other. She knows in her gut that whole world is crumbling right in front of our eyes. It's happening more and more every day. It's playing out right in front of us. The world is changing. It's shifting. She sees it. She senses it. She might not even be able to consciously admit it to herself. But that is where this utter contempt is coming from. It's because we're going to reach a point, like Piers said, where she's just going to have to stop thrashing these girls. And I think, really honestly, the contempt is coming from, it's because she knows that these girls are in the right, and she knows, she has to know, that history is going to judge her and her family, because she's part of the royal family. She's related to them. I'm pretty sure that's the way it works. She's related to them distantly, but she is. And she senses that coming. And she has such utter contempt for the peasants. They're going to overthrow it all and end it all and burn it to the ground. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm not a psychologist, nor do I ever want to be, but you know. But anyways, hope you all have a good day, good evening. See you later.